All right, let's cut to the wide. Hey everybody, Dan the Pancake Man. Oh, that made a noise. Dan the Pancake Man here. Another episode of the Joy of Pancakes. So we've already got some of our regulars there in the chat. Good to see you, Maya. Good to see you, Xavier. Welcome to the chat. Oh, you just drop everything here. I need to have that in a better position there. Working with a little bit of new technology here. Tablet out here so I can monitor the chat. We're tinkering with the way our studio's set up, so right now, that's why you can see the camera angles a little bit different. Because if you could see the behind the camera, you'd see that it was a disaster right now. That's good to see y'all. Yeah, Hank tore out a wall, the front wall of the studio. So a little bit more. There was a door there that we never used, and that was it's a converted garage. But let me see here. We got new hotkeys. Stream starts soon. I can unmute the music. Right. Ben made a new scene for being super zoomed in on the griddle. So, fantastic. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Look at this dashboard real quick. Why is Facebook not connected yet? Whatever, man. Got the flu vaccine tonight, huh, Maya? That's very good of you. So, welcome to the Joy of Pancakes. This is a long-form pancake art stream series where the Dancakes pancake artists here in the studio in St. Louis sit down and we take our time making some really beautiful pieces of pancake art. Now, usually I like to start the stream with a piece that I have in mind, and I do have one such piece in mind. Let me cut to this bad boy here. This is yes, I'm using a reference of Pancakes. This is by an artist I stumbled across on Twitter, at Yorugami, Yorugami. We'll get that on the overlay at some point in the future. You can see their handle there. I was just browsing around the pancake art hashtag online and found that really beautiful piece of art. Yorugami does a lot of like really delectable looking shiny digital paintings of foodstuffs, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna make a pancake of this stack of pancakes that Yorugami illustrated. Pancake art of pancake art, and give them a shout out too. So Pancakeception, exactly. Yes, Xavier. I've got the chat on my iPad here now, so if you see me glancing at this, I'm probably gonna, if I'm scrolling around, I'm either checking the status of the restream, or I'm checking the chat to make sure that I interact with y'all. Real quick, give me one moment. Forgive me. It doesn't look like it's connected to Facebook at all yet, and I'm going to ask Ben to come in here and take a look at that for a minute. Would one of y'all, Ben, would you be able to come take a look at this? It looks like it's not connecting to Facebook for some reason. I know that usually that's where we get the most. Well, it's Facebook and YouTube. Just while I start doing this pancake, see if you can figure that out. I appreciate it. I'm going to go to the overhead, and we're going to go ahead and start this Yorugami pancake art. Well, I will say right off the bat, especially given the mood I'm in, I'm going to try not to be too precise with this, because with a design like this, I could very easily get into the trying to perfectly replicate all the different colors and shapes that I see. But I've learned over the years, especially for a stream where I want to make more than one pancake, that can kind of be barking up the wrong tree a little bit. You really just want to try and emulate the shapes as best you can. I mean, that's not to say that I couldn't get definition close to the way that this actually looks, because I really wanted to, if I was being paid. But even then, I mean, there's just limitations built into the medium that you gotta be mindful of. And not get too in your own head about trying to overcome, because it's a fool's errand. At least in my experience. And if there's something I know, it's doing fool's errands. Because I am fool, you see.
Not liking Facebook today at all.
Not liking Facebook today at all, huh? That's unfortunate. Let's see, sounds kind of... What happened?
Accidentally hit big one.
Oh.
Oh, I hit the smiley face. That's what happened. Shift is
So a lot of what I'm laying down right now is just white line work. Trying my best to emulate or match all the beautiful highlights that they've got on this syrup. It really makes it look so inviting. I think the trick to a lot of this is to get sharp, pointed shapes as much as you can. Stark geometry. Because the light reflects really, really vibrantly off of it. That shape there. Give me that. There we go. Okay. Trying to get those smooth. Okay. Cool. Good to see you, Maya. Yes. Strange that this chat isn't updating. Oh, well, I can look at the screen, I guess. You know, when you introduce this many new elements to a machine at one time, you're gonna have... Yeah. It is funny that Facebook decided not to connect, though.
Yeah, it's still not.
Ben, did you remember to make your daily sacrifice to the Zuck?
I forgot.
Well, that's why. Gotta do the blood sacrifice every day. Or else he gets sad. Now eat your machine. Thank you, Ella. Yeah. Maya, I did see that pancake that Jenny made. Did you request that? It was very cute. Glad that the restream chat seems to be responding again. The chat over here on this tablet, anyway. Xavier asks, is it more difficult using art as a reference compared to a picture? I know the reference you're using is pretty realistic, but generally art doesn't have to be. Actually, art is easier as a reference, usually. Anything that's illustrated, anything that is, because the thing is about the real world is that, like, lines don't really exist in the real world. And when you look at a person's face, you have to you definitely have to take a lot of practice to learn to recognize the sort of aesthetic shorthand for the shapes that make up a person's face, because like what I'm drawing right now does not literally look like it's an illusion, right? I'm trying to find a way to say that doesn't contradict itself, but it's when you actually look at a stack of pancakes, you don't see all these defined, if but small, little lines. You see the whole thing. And all of the little thresholds between colors and shapes and that sort of thing are, they're a lot more like gradients the closer you look at them. And you have to make a decision as an artist what things you're going to render in one color and what things you're going to render in another color, because in actuality, the thing is all of the colors at the same time. And so it really is similar in some respects to language and writing, in that you're approximating definitions, you're approximating meaning. Whereas if you illustrate if you're using an image as a reference, right? If I'm just drawing a cartoon character from a reference, that I'm probably going to have a very explicit, straightforward set of strokes suggested to me. Like when you draw, a cartoon character has like straight up black outlines, and it's like, oh, if I just draw the black outlines in the same shape as I see them, it'll be good. I don't have to make a lot of executive decisions, artistically speaking, based on, the approximate colors next to that to simulate the shape that I'm trying to capture. I can just draw what I see. When I do something like this, where there's a lot of blending, where there's a lot of gradients and variance and line weight and all that stuff, I have to make a lot of simplifying equations in my brain, so to speak. I have to make decisions that say, okay, well, I'm going to render that with a white outline just because it'll make it so I can actually understand what the hell I'm looking at, instead of trying to only pick out the brightest white spots on all of this. Like, I'm doing a very approximal rendering of this. I kind of hate that I understand everything you just said. Art in middle school finally pays off. Hi, Vanilla Cat. Welcome to the chat. Thanks for dropping in. We're talking about art stuff. Facebook still being annoying? Ugh. Appreciate you trying to figure that out, though. That ran off to the side a little bit, but you know what? That's okay. That got short and weird. This isn't going to be perfect, but I think it'll be good enough. That's a big part of why we say mistakes are delicious. It's an excuse. Okay, that one stops there. Oh, and that one drips off straight down. Okay. Fascinating. Okay. A lot of these lines I'm doing here are a little bit. In fact, I might switch to my, just so there's a little difference in the shininess. Rahab, welcome back to the chat. Xavier Crane, I like how IRL there's no outline for people, but in art you need to bring things forward. If not, the image looks flat and unreal. Yeah, and I think that's one of the weirder things about being an artist or doing art is that you have to learn that your job is not to render things perfectly. At least it certainly stopped being that once we invented the camera, right? Photography kind of rendered the idea of spending years and years honing photorealistic painting skills a bit irrelevant, because a camera can do it better and faster and cheaper and easier. And if you just want to preserve an image of what you looked like, well, then there you go. If you really want, put some makeup on or something. But the cool thing about that is that it kind of liberated artists to put themselves more in the business of drawing things that aren't there out, right? Like you said, bring things to the surface. Sort of like taking what you see and then distorting it or augmenting it or changing it in a way that maybe only your brain might see, and then communicating that to somebody else so that they too can enjoy the weird way your brain works. And once I learned that on sort of a subconscious level, once I realized that like the best thing I could do artistically is render things in a way that only my brain, my medium, my art style can do. What's up? Oh, sorry.
Facebook's really dumb.
Ben's still trying to figure out our Facebook issue, and
Yeah,
Facebook, it won't stream to it.
Yeah, it's not connecting.
Is it because of all my political beliefs?
That's your lack of.
Whoa. Oh. I didn't realize. I said it was my lack of political beliefs. Anybody that knows me will tell you. You don't want me to have more political beliefs. Yeah, there's this artist on Twitter that when I looked up the pancake art hashtag just to, bother people. And this is one of the ones that showed up. Oh, just a little bit more. Zuckerberg hears all. Yes. Yes. Oh, and by the way, to anybody that was hoping for the request stream on Sunday and did not get it, I just want to apologize. I know we posted a video telling folks what was going on. We're in the process of rehabbing a little bit of the room here. Hank is doing amazing stuff, and it's part of the reason that got this iPad in front of me, and I'm always making these little changes to the way we're doing it, but it is a work in progress. And so we appreciate your patience. Next Sunday, we will not be canceling it. You can trust me on that. He said, before the studio caught fire and they had to cancel it. Knock on wood. Let's see. Trying to use these shadowy lines.
I'm gonna try toggling Facebook one more time. If it doesn't work,
Ben's toggling the Facebooks.
if it doesn't work, then I'm just gonna have to use
One more time.
RTMP push, which means we won't get Facebook chat on the screen, but we'll be on Facebook.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but I believe in you.
It means we won't have. It means the chat won't show up on restream.
That is kind of frustrating. And, well, I mean, if we can just pull it up, the Facebook chat on something else, I can interact with folks manually or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I would hate for people to drop in on Facebook and say things and then me never respond to them and then be like, screw this dude. You know?
Ah, shoot, I'm changing the scenes while I'm typing.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we'll get that figured out.
I use a lot of parentheses, so it's like...
Yeah. Got over here. Okay, under that. Becca. Yeah, Becca, we're sorry. We're trying to figure out the Facebook stream because for whatever reason, it isn't going to it. We use Restream every single time, and we send it to Facebook every single time, and usually Facebook is our biggest audience, but for whatever reason, it refuses to today. So Ben's actually working on that right now. It's frustrating. But, you know, like we were joking about how we didn't pay our tithes to Zuck this month. So they're punishing us. We're too critical of them on our streams. Our machine learning algorithm detected that you did not say you loved Facebook at least 3 times during this stream. So we're going to negatively affect your algorithm. We're also going to negatively affect Al Gore's rhythm. Zuck does suck. Yeah, I mean, we haven't had this issue. Well, actually, yeah, that's a good point. We have had issues with Facebook where it will just stop in the middle of a stream. Beautiful. All right. We definitely got some pancake coming together here. Cute little lines. Shiny bits. Let's see. How are you doing, Dan and Ben? Good week so far? Well, so far so good. I'm feeling pretty happy right now. We've got, I'm very excited about this addition to the studio, and we've had a pretty good amount of, oh, I'm gonna have to make some decisions here, aren't I? Got all these warm and cool colors. We've had a pretty good amount of, like, commission requests continuing to come in, events, opportunities are still knocking, and that is really, really important to us right now because there's been a lot of uncertainty on the business end of things around here for a couple months, and so just having, you know, I just heard before the stream started today that we're just about sold out of color kits, and somebody wants a bunch of them. So it's a problem because we have to go and, you know, figure out what we're gonna do while we wait for more color kits to show up to help this particular client out. But it's a good problem to have. You know, if your problem is that you have sold out of your product, that's good. You know, we're not making gangbusters on color kits and everything just yet, but it is helping us make a little bit more money on top of the digital event fee. You know, like people will buy their class equipment from us, and that's been really, really a wonderful thing that we're able to do right now. Just the fact that we can sell people our time for a live streamed digital class, sell them the equipment so they can follow along, and have both happy customers and money moving in. You know, it's one of those. A lot of the pivot lately has been very uncertain, and having something like that, it's a nice feeling. It's just nice to know that that is valid. That's a valid business direction at the moment. It's not a little. round shapes all over the place here. It's interesting that you start with the highlights. I get it because you're technically painting backwards. Normally you start with the background first, then paint, then work forward to the highlights. Yes, that's it's one of the weird things about the medium itself of pancake art, which is that, you know, whatever you do last shows up on the bottom. So you want to draw your highlights. Generally, you want to do those first. And it definitely, there's a limit because of that. There's always going to be limitations. I think one of the very, very wonderful things about most forms of traditional art is that you can render as long as you want, right? You can just render and render and render and render and render and keep on drawing and keep on adding and keep on changing things, and you can erase and go back, and there's a lot of things you can't do with pancake art. And as a result, it kind of forces some limitations on the kinds of things you draw and the way in which you draw them. Like, you will almost always, at least in my experience, you can do blending, but it's nowhere near as trivial as it is in most other art mediums. If you want to blend with pancake art, you really have to be very intentional about your mixing process and like set aside empty bottles and that sort of thing, or use some kind of an implement to spread it really thin, and even then it can get grainy. There's all kinds of possible pitfalls and problems with that. But one of the cool things I've learned over the years is that if you are mindful of your griddle temperature, you can take a long time. And I've found that as long as you get a lot of really interesting small details in there, it's okay if the blending isn't perfect, just because it still looks beautiful and interesting and dynamic, you know? It still looks, you have rendered an image, you have rendered an idea. People can see it, they can recognize it. A lot of browns in this syrup. Browns and beautiful oranges and stuff. So, try my best to keep a lot of those alive.
Okay. Facebook is up, but there's no chat.
Facebook's up, but there's no chat. Excellent. Great. Well, like, but there, I mean, there is chat on like people on Facebook can chat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, that's annoying. But you've got it pulled up over there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Bruce Kerr, I can see your comment there. I appreciate that. Yeah, a lot of details so far. Like I was saying, I feel like once we get it, once you can render this stuff endlessly, or, well, as long as you're mindful of your temperature. But the key here is just going to be lots of really interesting small details. And bright color, too. Learning not to use... learning to use little punches of bright color, even if it might not seem like this syrup is an amber gold, but there's also yellows and browns and reds in here. So you're going to see me use a lot of different colors to try and draw that out, so to speak. Try my best to portion off these actual pancakes so you can kind of tell what's going on there. Just building it up. Building it up. This artist's done a really great job of adding this really interesting texture to the whole thing, you know? They've clearly looked at a pancake or two in their life. They're probably looking at pancakes when they drew this. I'll bet you. Hi, Lizzie. Glad you're getting a kick out of it. Yeah, Becca, he basically got Facebook to work, but it won't show up on the chat, which is frustrating. I don't know why, but he basically, because it wasn't streaming through Restream, he did a workaround. So I can see the chat on our monitor. I can see it, but I can't see it. It doesn't show up on the stream itself, which is annoying. Becca says, I'm impressed you figured out a workaround at all, Ben. People who teach themselves are able to learn technology are so impressive. I have no head for it at all. That's how I feel when I see Ben. And he's always super humble about it. He'll be like, oh, I just did. And it's like, dude, you're a wizard. You're a witch doctor. Witch doctor? That one.
Bing tang.
Walla walla bing bang. Get those yellows. I'm going to switch to my orange yellow because that one's a little bit less garish. It's okay for there to be some yellow, actual yellow in there. But something else that I have to keep in mind is that the trick is not to be perfect. Yeah, I say this all the freaking time. The trick's not to be perfect. It's to emulate the shapes and vibe in a way that other people can recognize it. So I don't have to be super careful. In fact, like I was saying, one of the things that I've learned is that if I'm not as careful, if I am a little bit sloppy and pancakey with it just because I'm not going to fight the medium, I'm going to let it behave the way it wants to behave, and if that makes my design look a little different, that's a lot of character. That's one of the things that there is value to that. You don't want to accidentally psych yourself out of realizing that the fact that you're rendering it in Pancakes at all and the limitations that imposes has a definite aesthetic effect on the final product, which is to say that rather than fighting your limitations, understand that your limitations are going to make it look different than anything else. And that's good. That's a very good, very cool, interesting thing. It should be cultivated and honored, not fought against. There's no sense in fighting against it. Yeah. Oh, this syrup's going to be super tasty looking. I can already tell. Getting those reds in there. Orange in some of these spots.
How do I know that you exist? He asked.
Hi, Alexis. Good to see you. I appreciate that.
Turned to face him. His deep-set eyes were traced with anxiety.
Xavier, so do y'all have like a color palette of pancake colors, or do you make some stock colors and just work on it from there? By color palette, I mean 7 shades of red, 7 orange. They almost look the same. We have a couple of default palettes, so to speak. Like when I come in to do Joy of Pancakes, I don't mix to a reference. I mix based on like there's a set of colors. Like usually it's the primary and the tertiary colors. Primary, secondary, and tertiary colors. Like really just a wide range, like red, orange, yellow, yellow, green, blue, purple, red. And then I'll mix like a darker blue and a darker green and a darker red so that I can do a little bit more interesting shadings on those. And then what am I saying? A light blue, a light red, like a pink and a sky blue, and then a collection of grays and a collection of browns. And with all those, I can usually render most designs, most shapes and images in a pretty compelling light. And even if it's not perfect, like I was saying, sometimes it's okay for it to not be perfect. It's okay for it to be like an approximation, because what you end up with is something that just happens to look more artistic. Appreciate your help there, Becca. I just saw that. since the Facebook chat isn't posting to the stream itself. Becca says, Danny Coleman on Facebook asked, what's your most favorite pancake you have made? That's a great question. I feel like I'm always wibbling around. Right now, it's probably this skull and pancake. It's another piece of pancake art in the background here. I'll grab it. It's this thing sitting on the back wall here. I don't think it's sold yet. It's for sale on the website, but this was from one of the Joy Pancakes episodes, and this is the one I've been showing off the most, just because it's handsome, it's small, it's cool. Set that off to the side there. Ben, can you scroll the Facebook comments down? There we go. Yeah. Hey, Cassie, Danny, y'all are wonderful. Yeah, I saw that. Okay, where is... Need to give this butter some life. I always think of butter as yellow, but actually more of a pale whitish color. Okay.
I'm gonna step out here so you can see that stuff. You might have to occasionally scroll down.
Okay. I've got a mouse over here in case I really need to do any goofing. Okay, we're gonna fill the rest of this in with the red, this darker red.
Just noticed we don't have the line going on here.
Oh, thanks for fixing that. All right. Wow. I got a good feeling about this one, y'all. Let's see. And Dan, should I try to get a hold of Jenny and Ryan? I mean, you can if you want to. I generally trust them to do their own thing, and if they feel like wandering in. It's just one of those things where we do the stream so often. I don't want anybody to get it into their mind that they need to feel obligated to come check every stream out. But if you feel compelled to, I won't stop you. Okay, so now I'm going to need to get this gold back out. What we use. Hey, thanks, Cassie. Appreciate that. Let me get the... Okay. There we go. Awesome. I love the orange and burnt orange highlights you've used with syrup, creative use of color. Yeah, I'm trying to follow what I have on screen, the reference I'm using, as closely as I can, given the palette I have. But the limitations of the palette itself, sort of, just by virtue of their limitations, force me to make some interesting decisions. And I think it's a good thing, ultimately. And I think that was my point before, is that, like, at the end of this process, these pancake creations will be more visually interesting, more unique for it. And that's kind of the point, you know? Because, I mean, one of the things that I've learned from, you know, going to a museum every now and then, or talking about, like, fine art and that sort of thing, you know, there's artists out there, like Rothko, for instance. Rothko is, I believe he's the artist who does those really bold, giant paintings of like one color or three colors or something. And it's very easy to look at Rothko's work and be like, I could have done that. Why should I care about your art? You're not impressing me. But I think it kind of misses one of the key points of art in a post-photography world, is that it's not about being impressive. Never has been. It's about expressing yourself, and it's about finding ways to express yourself that are true to you and that maybe other people haven't thought to. You know, like, I could have done that, but you didn't, is the thing. You didn't do it. Why did this person do it? What are they trying to say? When you start seeing art in that different lens, I think it changes the way you think about a lot of stuff within your own creative spark. You start to, rather than hold yourself back because I'm not good enough to do that, you start to wonder, like, well, shoot, man, like, there's, you guys know, do you guys know about How To Basic on YouTube? It's the YouTube channel where every video is a bait and switch of a how-to video. It's like how to change the wheels on your car, and then it almost always devolves into some naked man that you can only see from you can only see their feet hurling eggs, and it's the sort of thing where it's like, it's so dumb, but that person has created a brand and a career for themselves out of doing that dumb nonsense. And, like, as vulgar and ridiculous as it seems, it's art, you know? Like, it's art in the sense that there's an audacity to it. There's a yeah, anybody could do that. Literally anybody could do that. Anybody could decide, I'm gonna get a bunch of eggs together and hurl it at a PlayStation 4 just because it's weird and goofy. But they didn't. And so that person gets to carve out a niche doing that. Egg smashing, yeah. Let me see. Robert the Bruce 1492 on Twitch says the color blending of the syrup is amazing. How do you make the choices on what colors to use? Sorry, I'm missing a lot of these questions. Yeah, I just mix a basic palette in advance and work off of that. So I'm gonna try and emulate the outline here. The colors in this particular instance, it's really just, I have a broad palette that I use that lets me approximate most things. And I went off of that. And so, like I was saying, it kind of forces me to make some decisions, some creative decisions about how I'm going to illustrate things. But a lot of times I like the way it ends up. And we're getting close to the end here. It's going to be a very simple one. I'm not going to make the round outline. I'm just going to give it that border, colored border, to kind of match the background that this artist chose for their composition. And then a nice white border to finish it off. And we'll do a little bit of background. There we go. And I'm going to catch up on the chat while this starts to cook. So forgive me if I haven't seen your comment just yet. Over on Facebook, we've got Fadel saying whoa, Danny Coleman saying #pancake. How y'all doing? Let's see. Is this a pancake of a pancake stack? Says Tech Ridden. Yes, it is. I missed the context on your reply, Becca. You were saying about oil painting and blending. It takes so long to dry, they're the easiest to blend. Yeah, and oh yeah, that's a good point too. Like the fact that oil paints take so long to dry means that you can come back to a painting and be like, I'm gonna change that, which is kind of nice. He's a favorite of mine. Goodness, yes. Who's Temple? I value the meditative process of looking deep into those colors, noting minute differences. I must have missed something. When art expresses, it impresses. Egg smash. He's hungry just by looking at it. My favorite Panic at the Disco song, this is gospel acoustic version, has a music video where they just throw random food and stuff at the lead singer and his piano. Yeah, it's stuff like that. Facebook and Twitch tell me. Awesome. Okay. So this is cooking through. I'm gonna have plenty of time to render some more pancakes after this. I'm gonna grab some spatulas. Forgot to grab a spatch. Got me a spatula. Dooba dooba doo doo. Boop dooba doo boop. A little bit more pancake on the back. So this is, shout out to Yorugami on Twitter. I'm gonna probably end up posting this photo to my Twitter this evening whenever I wrap up the stream. And shout them out and be like, hey, follow this food artist if you want to see somebody draw really beautiful art of food and not art in food. Maya, is that you? Maya loves cats and dogs? Yeah. Sounds like you. Okay. And I've got Ben put a scene on the OBS for us that has a super zoom. So when I flip this over, we can look at the detail a little bit if we want to. I'm gonna mirror this image so we can, if we want to compare, to see how I ultimately rendered this. I probably should have mirrored it at first. Do it like my grandma, just grab it and flip it by hand. Coming right up. Just screaming in the studio. I thought this stream was supposed to be relaxing. Okay. Alright, you ready everybody? It's almost time. I'll make sure it cooks solid enough that it doesn't do that. Sometimes it's hard for me to tell when it's going to do flaking or not. Hey, this smells like pancakes. That's weird. That's weird. Okay, ready everybody? There we go. 3, 2, 1. Wow. You know, I'm not a big fan of how dark some of those lines cooked, but I still think it's pretty good. I'm still happy with how that turned out. Yeah. Because, I mean, I'm not sure, I guess it just cooked too hot. That's weird. I wasn't expecting it to cook that hot. Because this was white, remember? So all these lines were white. And I was really not expecting those. It did. I'm not entirely sure why. But it still looks nice. It's still a pretty stack of pancakes. Maybe I'll fix it in post. Smells so good. Okay. Extremely tempted to put pancakes on, or syrup on this right now. Excuse me. All right. And there you have it. A stack of pancakes. Smells, please describe the post-World War II art. Yeah. Well, it smells like a pancake. It smells like bread. There's a sweetness to it. There's it's kind of a, yeah, it's like a crispy smell. Like it's a little bit, like I can smell that I cooked it a little bit too hot, but it's not bad, you know? Like, cause that's how you're supposed to cook pancakes normally. So I'll set that off to the side. The joy of pancakes. Do you guys ever add flavor to your pancake art, like maple or anything? Asks Robert the Bruce. Not often. There once was a time where almost all of my pancake art was flavored because I literally used Nesquik drink mix in the batter to give it, to create contrast. In fact, if you look at a lot of my older work, you'll see that the very first pancake art I made was almost always brown tones, pan tones, so to speak. And because, yeah, cocoa powder or Nesquik, which actually has a lot of sugar added to it, so it sweetens them up as well. But just cocoa powder in general can get you all kinds of really great brown flavors, or flavors and colors, chocolate flavors, brown colors. We've done, a while ago we did a commission for somebody that wanted us to do a blueberry extract to get blue color, and it still worked. You could get like 2 or 3 good, decent shades, decent contrast shades out of it, but it wasn't nearly as rich as the artificial flavoring is, and the flavoring itself was really, or artificial coloring, sorry. The flavoring itself on those was really, really like the ghost of a blueberry. And it also wasn't dark. It was like a gray sort of color. Let's see. Does anybody have any suggestions for what I should make next? Anybody have anything they'd like me to keep in mind? Any kind of prompts? Any words, really pretty words that come to mind, or vibes, moods you're having? I see Oh, okay, over on Facebook, David Garcia Gale said, I'm the corgi from Cowboy Bebop. Well, I'm sold. Well, I said LaCroix pancakes, which, no offense, well, I love you dearly, and I also drink a lot of LaCroix, or bubbly water, but I can only render one photorealistic image a day. Let's see. I'm gonna do Ein from Cowboy Bebop. Oh, Alien Disco. What's your palette? My palette's just the basic palette, so it's like a box of Crayola crayons, sort of. Oh, Ein. You're so precious. It's the best picture of you. I'm gonna do that. Mysterious is a good reference, or a good prompt. Mysterious, disco, 200s, 2000s, 200,000s. What is? Yeah, we tinkered with the brightness a little bit, so that'll just be the setting from now on that makes it look so.
Like your Morgan Freeman and Bruce Almighty. That white area.
Give me that. Come on. There we go. Okay. Cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw Ein from Cowboy Bebop. Oh, 1950s art diner. You're getting me there. I am definitely a diner dog. Oh, I have my griddle on. I'm a fool. Didn't turn my griddle off after my last pancake, so now it's all super freaking warm. Oh, thanks for the stars, David. Appreciate that. I am not sure how stars work on Facebook still. Never actually tinkered with that. Because we always do it through Restream, and Restream doesn't tell us when people send us stuff. I imagine there's probably a way. Ben might be able to figure it out if other things don't get in the way of making it so we can make that stuff show up on screen, like I see a lot of streamers do. They'll have like goals, you know, like subscribers and donations and all that kind of thing, but I don't know the first damn thing. Is this clogging? What's going on here? Okay, well, here we go. Time to draw. I'm pretty hungry myself, Maya. Yeah, this tip is not working out, so we're gonna switch. We'll switch to our dark gray tip. All right. There we go. That's a little bit more than I'm used to. I don't actually really like the super ultra fine detail tips we have. Sometimes our tips seal from the heat by drawing the girl too hot for too long like a fool. But I actually prefer to have a slightly wider tip because I like the way that the variance in line weights comes across, you know? Like I like that I have all these tapers and dynamics, I guess. It kind of goes along with what I was saying before about how I feel like my job as an artist is to render things in a way that they have not already appeared. To translate something I can see through my brain and body into something that hasn't been seen before. Even if I'm using a reference image, you know? Even if I'm just kind of trying my best to copy a picture I'm seeing, there's still that, you know, no matter what, it's gonna be completely different because of the fact that I'm doing it with pancake batter. And that medium has limitations. It's the limitations that give the medium itself value. Wouldn't have any value if there weren't any limits. We're just a computer program that could render anything and any way I want. It's the inaccuracies that make people like it. Make it seem like it has a purpose. Good dog. We got Dr. Dan gonna head off camera and use stack pancake art of pancake stack. Hey Bobby, welcome back to the chat. Good to see you, Bobby. I love the new setup you guys did. It's more cozy. Yeah, well, you're talking about like the wide angle right now. Like I'm like, yeah, it's not as far away. We'll probably the camera is on a tripod right now, so it's like literally closer to me because we don't have the final setup. But we'll probably just have it zoomed in whenever wherever we end up having it mounted. We'll probably just zoom it in for future streams.
David for the 150 star.
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
Let's see. Best. Most of the snow is going to be right. A little bit better. More. Okay. All right. Just curious, because I've never seen the show. Are the corgi's eyes red in the show, or do you expect that red color to darken into more of a mahogany brown? I love it. Well, it's mostly that the reference image I'm using, it's a very dark brown, but there is definitely a redness to it. It might not be quite as red as the color I selected, but I still think it'll be a good contrast with the rest of Ein's head. So I don't know if I picked it because I was thinking of it. It will probably darken a little bit. It's kind of inevitable. But for whatever reason, I've never gotten in the habit of thinking that way when I'm drawing. I always draw very literally, and then it darkens the image. Dana actually sometimes properly accommodates for the darkening. Like incorporates it into her artistic mindset. She's like, I'm going to select this color so that when it darkens, it'll be the right color. And I'm like, I don't think that far ahead. Maybe I ought to, but it comes back into the whole, like, if it is darker, there's a part of me that always gives myself the excuse that, oh, it's like what I was saying, it's a pancake. It looks more like a pancake now. Wow. But yeah, very much kind of a cop-out right there on my part. At least I recognize it, right? Excuse me. Good dog. Let's see. I'm gonna have to use some interesting color choices here, aren't I? So I got myself in a weird situation. I feel like this is probably the closest to Ein's coloration that I have over here. It's not perfect. It's not brown enough. But again, it's close enough. And it might also brown, right? Because the last one cooked a lot hotter than I expected it to for some reason. Maybe that'll happen again. Either way, if it doesn't, we'll just have a much more vibrant porgy. That's an acceptable problem to have. Okay. Nearly white coloration. It's not quite white. This is this color here is just plain batter with like 3 drops of white, whereas my actual white batter I use closer to 10 drops. Usually it allows you to get away with a slight contrast without it seeming weird, and if you just use plain batter in contrast to white, sometimes it ends up looking out of place. I don't know how to describe it aside from that. It doesn't look like it goes together, because the white gel actually does something to the batter. It makes it cook in a slightly different way. Because the white gel doesn't work exactly the same as the other gel. It uses a titanium oxide So it like very, very slightly, it's perfectly edible, but it slightly changes the chemistry of the batter. So it cooks, generally cooks a lot brighter as a result. Holds its brighter colors more. So if you just put 1 or 2 drops in one of your other colors, all these colors have a little bit of titanium white in them, specifically because of that reason, specifically because it has a tendency to make those colors cook a little bit brighter. And trying to show off for y'all, you know, trying to make things that are bright and pretty as I can make them. There. Okay, what's this tan right here? Okay, and the darkest brown. Hey, Jenny, how are you? Good to see you. You're so wonderful. We all love you very much. We're doing Ein. Cowboy Bebop. And I'm going to use this purple, this fuchsia, as the shading on Ein's tongue. Not perfect, not the identical color, but I think it's more true to the vibe of the tongue vibe, than red would have been. Excuse me. Okay. So, like I said, this isn't perfect. This color is this is my yellow orange. This is my sort of my gold color. This is not perfect, but I think it is the closest to Ein that I have. That doesn't make him a dimmer shade. I want it to be, you know, what I'm banking on here is that the shading I've done, the dark brown shading, will do some of the legwork for me here and make this yellow look a little browner. That's one of the things that you learn happens as you dabble in art, is you learn that a lot of times... Oh! I'm not kidding. I get that little lower lip definition there. But you learn that often when you're drawing things, much of the information that is given to a viewer is given in the form of context. And so if you put a yellow right next to a dark brown, without any line separating them to show that they're distinct color zones, you can create the illusion that that yellow is browner, specifically because it clearly, when there's less light on it or whatever, there's brown. If that makes sense. Let's see. So, little doggy tag. Some of a bright yellow. Boop. Okay. And now, the outline. I can already tell I think this yellow was a good choice. Sort of orange, yellow, gold. Everybody's saying hi, Hank. Yeah. He says hi. He's in the other room. He's doing Hank stuff. It's very cool having a studio space that we can all work in, you know? Taking a break from painting to eat and talk and chat a little. That's nice. I should have eaten before I sat down to start streaming, but I didn't, and now I'm smelling all these delicious pancakes. I'm a fool. I'm a fool, I tell you. Oh, well, Jenny, just teleport here. Come be our actually, we don't even need a batter mixer anymore because we got a paint can mixer. It's so nice. That's why I mix all these colors for every stream now, because it's like I can mix all of these colors in about half the time it used to take, and without using any of my arm energy, you know, without using any of my freaking calories. I love the vibrant colors. Yeah, me too, Becca. You're saying about color context makes sense. I'm always so literal in my color choices that it's cool to see someone break out of that box a little bit. Yeah, and I think Dana and like we did a 48-hour Pokemon live stream, and Ben suggested using the secondary and tertiary color palette for that live stream. And you know, sometimes when you don't have access to like a Photoshop palette and you can just get whatever color you can possibly imagine, you have to make some choices that force you outside of that box, and you end up learning a lot about how much you can get away with, like in this skull pancake, you know, like there's blues and grays and all these things in there. And when a couple of years ago, the artist in me would have seen a skull and seen shading on a skull, and would have automatically, without really thinking about it, would have automatically said, I need to use gray because a skull is white. And so it's, you know, it's almost too logical in a sense. Learning or thinking about it more as if it's an equation to be solved, and less as it's a concept to be drawn out. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of flaking. I don't know if y'all can see when I go to slide this and powder comes off underneath. That's usually a sign that it's not cooked enough. Thought I've made this batter pretty thick, but anyway. Let me do the overhead. 3, 2, 1. It's fine. Handsome lad. It's a great question. Y'all had some good requests earlier. Let me scroll back up. Jeez. '50s diner feel. I went too far. Alien, disco, mysterious. 1950s art diner. Mysterious. Yeah, we'll do mysterious. Yeah. That sounds good. All right. Woo-hoo. Scooby mystery vibe, but not Scooby. 1950s neon. I got an idea. Hold on. Give me a second, y'all. Let me see if I can find something. I'm gonna get some couple of references here. Come on, phone. The phone is struggling. See if I can find some interesting. So I like these ideas. The bandit cat neon was cool, yeah. I'm probably not gonna do the American flag pancake, Maya. I think it's very simple, and I think there's a lot of people that have mixed feelings about the American flag right now, which is too bad. But how about, well, I guess I don't really have to do, kind of want to use that for reference. Straightforward, cool. Okay. Oh, I got the griddle on again, jeez. Okay. Sebastian on Facebook says, you guys have done Waluigi for me before. How about Gino from Super Mario RPG? Gino would be a good one. Yeah, I'll keep that one in my back pocket. And David says, it's beautiful. Ein's the best doggo of any anime series. I agree with you, David. I think Ein is basically the reason that I think corgis are so freaking cute. It's a great character. When are the elections? Soon. Yeah, we've only got a couple more weeks for the United States presidential election. It's a lot of vibes hanging in the air, man. I'm gonna start this one with an outline. I goofed up that side, but that's okay. We'll just... looks like it might be too hot for me to do anything. I saw that when Ben did his stream, he actually switched griddles. We do have other griddles around here, so that he wouldn't have to worry about fighting the heat, but I'm more stubborn than that. I'll just use the same griddle until it kills me. And I'll like it. A little bit better. Thank you so much, Sebastian. We really appreciate that. Sent us some stars on Facebook. Sent us 200 stars. You rock. I'll zoom in on this individual's face. Try some strange things with the lighting in the space. Let's see. Yeah. No. Where's the black ones? There's the white for this. Doing some interesting things here because I'm not using outlines quite as heavily. See if I can pull it off. Often, it'll either make the pancake look really cool and interesting or really haphazard. So, really depends on how well I do. Not so much about the technique, but how well I execute. Jenny, I will hug everyone in the studio for you. We love you so much. It's so good to see you in the chat. Becca, what am I making? I am making a... Man, we gotta get that overlay made so we can say, now making. I'm making a... the prompt is like, it's sort of a 50s, 1950s and mysterious. So I decided I'm going sort of a noir detective. Like a lot of really strange lighting on this individual here. There's a lot of shadow, you know, that sort of thing. I'm trying to simplify some of these shapes so it gets into a more kind of an abstract style. But you can see that I'm not actually using much in the line of line work. Yeah. And now making overlay is a good idea. Yeah. We've been talking, there's a lot of cool ideas we have for how we can make this stream just as awesome as it can possibly be. I mean, the sky's the limit, really, you know, like there's no limitation on how many different ways we can innovate on this. And I think one of the things I've been trying to do is just not bite off more than I can chew. As far as like trying to get too many things crammed into it too quickly before we learn how each individual piece works. You know, like there's so much troubleshooting that's going to have to be done, but it's fun because we're not trying to do it all at once, you know. It's like, well, let's change one thing per stream for a couple of months and see where we end up. You know, like try bring the tablet in, and if something is really, really handy, sensible, then it will probably... Do I hate that so much? Then it will probably get used and reused and reused, and then just become a part of our process. Excuse me. Adorable. Okay. Go back to that. And it's into the pop art style, yeah. It's definitely very kind of building it up in a different order than I usually do. I decided the image I'm using is somewhat of a reference, is black and white, but I decided I wanted to do something a little bit more colorful with it. smooth out as many of those lines as I can. Does that make sense too? Very blue. Some painted background elements there. Let's see how this one turns out. I'm trying very intentionally not to cook it too hot because a lot of those whites, all that white batter needs to shine through for this to really look as cool as I want it to. So we'll see. It's a weird one, huh? Okay. Gander my phone here real quick. Okay. I will probably have time for one more after this. Frustrated that we couldn't get Facebook to work, but... Or at the very least, we couldn't get it to work with the restream chat. That's pretty annoying. It's really nice when we can get all those different viewers on different channels, but, you know, what are you gonna do? I don't make the rules. Okay. Anybody have any suggestions for what I should make next? Oh, right, Sebastian. Sebastian sent us a bunch of stars and also asked for Gino from Super Mario RPG, so, yeah. Let me go ahead and do that. After the stream, Maya asks, what'll I be doing? Here, hold on, let me pull up a good reference image of Gino. It's like a puppet. Alright, I'm gonna make sure this doesn't get too dark before I get too carried away with my reference image there. Come on. It's pretty annoying. It's doing this weird thing where it's just wanting to stick. It's wanting to stick so much. I really wish it didn't. So, damage it. There's a lot of flakes coming off of it. Anyway, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Pretty neat. You can see what I'm talking about with the flaking. Like, I guess it's because I tried to flip it too soon? I wish I actually, you know, as long as I've been doing pancake art, I wish I really, truly understood why that happens. I still don't understand why that flaking happens sometimes, because it's hard. I don't know if it's, I don't think the batter's too thick. That could be it. At any rate, I think that's a cool pancake. Pointillism. After the stream, Maya asked what will I be doing? I'll probably be posting the stream to the Dancakes.com website, eating lunch, and then going home. Conceivably, tomorrow I'm gonna have to come in and do some commission. Also, I've got to get cracking on just a couple of videos that I've been slacking on for several weeks now. That we're gonna have to have come out eventually. But I'm gonna go ahead and do Gino from Super Mario RPG as Sebastian. Look this up with those stars on Facebook and show my appreciation. Okay, for the stream. But then we'll be coming back Wednesday, 2 p.m. Central Daylight Time, for folks to drop in and check out the Joy of Pancakes once more. So Gino, I just need a good solid image of Gino's face. I'm gonna pull up the... Okay, so he's got those two ribbons in front of him. I'm gonna try to put my own spin on this instead of just drawing straight from the reference. Let's see. We'll say it's harder to do when you can't sketch, you know.
you want to talk to them?
Pointillism. Y'all trying to get me to try some pointillism? I guess I can do that on Wednesday, huh? Super Mario RPG. That is the only game just for me. When I play the game, I get lost in a place. And I realize I'm stuck in Gino's maze. Oh, Gino, you're such an underutilized character in the Nintendo universe. They probably don't put him into Smash Bros. Because of licensing things or something. I don't know. Stained glass, yeah, that mulch race was really fun.
What's the part? Now type in 12 color cake food color. 12 color.
Okay. Darkness on this wooden face.
It is shut down.
same deal. We're going to use this yellow, sort of the rich wood color on Gino's body here. Alright. Do some crazy stuff in the background with all these greens I've got. Gonna outline Gino in white. We got this little piece sticking out here. I'm going to use a lot of green because Gino Forest. I've got all these different greens. I haven't really used much of them this stream so far. Just some chaos. Just some lovely chaos to give him a little bit of some vibe back there. Gino be vibing. Yeah. Okay. And then after this, we'll flip it, we'll cut to the roundup, and I'll sign off. This stream is... What are we at? We're at 4 pancakes, and coming up on 2 hours. So cool. That's pretty good. I'm going to start capping these bottles, and so I'm going to be reusing these colors tomorrow. Give me 1 second, y'all. I'm going to mute my mic for a second while I rinse out these tips. Howdy, y'all. Just wanted to step away while that pancake cooked. I'm gonna go ahead and flip this bad boy over, I think. Did I let it cook long enough? It's still doing the flaking. Still doing the flaking. I'm just worried that if I leave it on for too much longer... I don't know. Maybe it'll work better tomorrow. At any rate, I'm gonna start taking these tips off. Okay, let's give this a shot. Crispy. 1, 2, 3. It's Gino. It's Gino from Super Mario RPG. Kind of a loose interpretation of him. Couldn't find any really particularly epic reference images on that first page of Google search results, so I kind of went a little loosey-goosey with it. But there you are. It was Sebastian over on Facebook made that request, made that suggestion, after giving us a bunch of stars. So I thought, yeah. I don't know if y'all can see what I'm doing, but I'm taking these tips off and I drop them in a... I got a drip cut here with some hot, soapy water. Usually let them soak for a couple minutes after a stream and then rinse them out real easy. Oh, too much water this time. All right, let me go put this on a plate, turn this griddle off, give y'all the roundup, and do the outro spiel. These are all going to end up preserved and framed and at some point in the future on the wall behind us. We got a huge backlog of pancake art right now just because we've been doing these streams so often. Yeah, hopefully y'all will find some pieces that you're interested in purchasing. I'm going to be tagging Yorugami on Twitter. Some of these pancakes here. Let me go back to the overhead. Gino, Film Noir, a stack of pancakes, and I'm the Corgi. Those are the pancakes that we made on today's iteration of the Joy of Pancakes. So I'm going to give you all my... First off, I want to thank everybody that's been watching for bearing with us. We had some issues with the Facebook chat. We had some issues with the stream starting up properly on Facebook. So if you are watching on Facebook, extremely grateful to you hanging out. I know your comments aren't showing up on the restream chat, like on the actual feed, which I don't know why that happened. But we did a workaround so we could at the very least reach you. So we appreciate you hanging out with us on Facebook. For everybody else, or just everybody in general, we do the Joy of Pancakes 3 times a week. We do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we start streaming at about 2 p.m. Central Daylight Time. We usually stream for about 2 hours, make about between 3 to 5 pieces of pancake art in that time. All the pancake art we make during the stream, or at least the vast majority of it, I don't know if we haven't thrown any of it away, I don't think. Serve it. We have a workshop in the other room, a couple rooms to my left. There's a freeze dryer in there, there's a saw for cutting wood, and the things that you see on the wall behind me, these pancakes here, these were all made on episodes of The Joy of Pancakes. We preserve them, we frame them, we sink them into resin, and then you can actually buy a piece of pancake art that you can put on your wall at home if you are so inclined. We have lots of pieces that are just for sale on the website, and if you would like to commission a private piece, a piece of something of your favorite pet, or a loved one, or your business logo, or anything like that, those are all fantastic options, and they're all available if you go to dancakes.com, or if you just shoot an email to hank@dancakes.com. We can work all that stuff out with you. It's a huge amount of support for us to have people commissioning us for art pieces, and it's helping us keep a roof over our heads and keep our business alive, even though events are no longer a thing. We also do a request live stream on Sundays starting at 2 p.m. And when I say request live stream, I know sometimes I take requests during the Joy of Pancakes, like you saw earlier. But on the request stream, that's when you can actually guarantee that we will make your pancake art request, whatever you want, whatever form it takes. Sundays is when we do that. Oh, I missed a cap, didn't I? Oh, jeez. Oh, what am I gonna do? I can't cap all my bottles. Oh no! Got this handy little Tupperware container here. I'm just gonna slot all these bottles in here. But if you like this stream, if you like what we do at Dancakes, the best thing you can do to help us out right now is share. Share it with other people. Let people know that, invite others, invite your friends and family to come and watch when we do these streams. Within the next couple of weeks, we will actually be formally rolling out a Patreon. Like we're gonna try and focus on Patreon because it makes a little bit more sense starting out that way. We have an outreach person that we're talking to. We've got more people that are volunteering to be moderators in the chat, and I'm really, really excited about the direction we're going with Dancakes, and I'm really excited to have you all along for the ride. It means a lot to me that people are willing to moderate and stuff like that. Like, it's super cool, and it's cool to see the same names in the chat sometimes, and have regulars and have people that clearly are excited about what we're doing and excited to be a part of this with us. And so I just want you to know that I'm very, very grateful to you. Let's see if there's any comments I missed here. I don't see any comments there on the restream chat, and I don't see any comments here. So without much ado, without much more to say, yeah, let's take a look at these pancakes one more time. Come on. Come on. There we go. Yeah, we love you all very much. Becca, Maya, Wella, I'm not sure if Rahab's still in here. Every now and then Sky Kid drops in. But we really appreciate all of your support, and I hope to see you all on Wednesday. So, Ben told me he did a thing. I should be able to mute my microphone, and then... It is done. I think it's done.